What's up, guys? Today we're going to figure out which of these 5 fruits do composting worms like the best. And I do have plenty of red wigglers that are ready to eat. And this is more of an experiment to see which one produces the most cocoons, which would be the eggs of the worms. So we want to see what gets them to breed the fastest. So let's get going. Let's do tomatoes in this one. Some of these are pretty rotted from the garden in the back. Some are pretty fresh. All in the name of science, I guess. We'll do watermelon in this one. Really, dude? Here. Alright. Watermelon in this. You do? Watermelon in this one, and Mr. Pumpkin in this other one. It's not quite Halloween yet, but we're very, very close to Halloween, so I suppose this is in season. This side, muskmelon. Put them both in there. And some green bananas. The question is do I leave the peel on or take it off? I'm going to leave half of it on. I'm afraid they won't rot fast enough otherwise. We could put a couple in there. Just see what happens. This is like the makings of some really messed up cooking show. This one right here, this is going to be our control. I know, real sciencey, right? So that's about it. Let's go another banana. I'm going to add my worms, so let me get to that. I've taken the liberty to make 6 even piles of worms that are going to go in each bin. I had a lot of room here to work because, well, the pups came back for seconds. So we're going to just evenly disperse them into the bins. Now, the goal here is we're gonna just leave these worms in here for let's just do 2 weeks, just for an easy number. So we'll leave it in here for 2 weeks. There's gonna be a lot of food left. They're not gonna get through it all. If I wanted to be super accurate, what I would have to do is I would have to weigh out all the food and make sure I give them all the same amounts, because there's not really the same amount of food in each bin, and I don't wanna do this wrong. The goal is give them 2 weeks, let them eat everything that they can. I feel like the surface area is pretty consistent throughout all of these. Let them eat as much as they can. In 2 weeks, pull them all out, and then weigh the cocoons. That's all I care about. I just want to know the amount of cocoons in each bin. I'm trying to figure out which one actually gets them to breed the fastest. You know, and if they're breeding the fastest, that kind of tells you that your conditions are right. I didn't worry so much about my stocking density just because I'm keeping it the same throughout all the bins. Ideally, for stocking densities, if you're trying to do like breeding bins or whatnot, you're trying to be around, half a pound to a pound per square foot. If you get it too dense, they don't mate. They'll actually stop and they'll regulate their population, something we don't seem to really do. So what they'll do is they'll stop breeding, but they'll just keep eating, they just won't keep breeding. So you like to keep that density down low enough to where they want to keep populating because there's an excess of food. So the idea here is to keep the population kind of light. It's on the light side of the spectrum here. Keep it light, give it 2 weeks, let them eat, and just see what I end up for cocoons. I gotta imagine one of these is gonna be a winner. Boys, it's time for a worm check. Let's start with the tomatoes. So these are pretty, look at all the little wormies underneath them. Just eating away. So we got a lot of tomatoes left. They didn't eat all that much of it, but they did eat a pretty good amount. See, look at that. The bananas, well, I had 2 on my counter that I bought with this whole set here, I call them a set of bananas. All right, a pair of bananas. I don't know. Anyway, I bought all of these at once, put the 2 on my counter, and they turned to mush way before these did. I think we may have all learned a trick here. If you want to preserve your bananas, just bury them. We don't see as much activity in these as we did in the tomatoes. I don't know if it's just being a little drier. Oh, there's a bit there. Oh yeah. Lots of banana left though. Muskmelon. This is truly a sight to behold. It is nasty. But the inside, not a whole lot of flesh left. Where'd they all go? What's under this guy? Oh yeah, they're all teamed up under there. The muskmelon gives a bit more moisture than the bananas do, which is helpful. I did add some water to those bananas. I think it was enough. So these guys, pretty decent size, bigger than the bananas, probably on par with tomatoes. I would say so. About the same size. I don't see any immediate cocoons right offhand, but I'm sure they're in there. So this is pretty nasty. Our control. Worm size. You know, not bad. Honestly, not much smaller than either one of those. This right here is old bedding. This is manure that's probably 3-4 years old. It's dried out a few times, and I've added moisture to it. It doesn't heat after I do that. I think it's mostly all processed at that point, or at least broken down enough to be stable. Worm size isn't bad. It's going to be interesting. Will this produce a lot less than the ones with food, or is just straight manure enough? Is a combination of the two, because they all have the same bedding, just the additives, the stinky additives. Pumpkin, well, the pumpkin looks like I got confused on how to make pumpkin pie, and it's gone horribly wrong. That is a big worm. Holy cow, these guys are huge. For red wigglers, that's a big worm. That's a full size there. It grew on pumpkin. Holy cow. Look at these guys. They're loving that. Oh yeah. Same across the two. Lots of worms. Okay. And the last, the most offensive one of them all, watermelon. Oh man. This is pretty gross. I've cleaned up a lot of dog puke in my day, but this is gross. It smells worse than dog puke, actually. But they're seeming to enjoy it. Look at that. They don't hate it. They don't hate that at all. It stinks. Whoa. They're good size. On par with pumpkin. Well, they got these guys. And you come back over to pumpkin. And you got these guys. I'm willing to say pumpkin beat watermelon. Pumpkin's definitely done the job. Now, let's go see which ones produce the most cocoons, because that's the one that matters. More cocoons, more babies, more worms, more you can get done. Let's find out. Okay. Ruger, you're not helping. In the spirit of total honesty, I went up north for the weekend and forgot all about these guys. So it's about 5 days past. I have been known to forget things. I've also been known to remember things. I could give you an example, but I don't quite remember. Watermelon, looking super nasty, a lot of moisture. Before I turned this light on though, they were all over the surface. probably because the poor dudes are drowning. Something to keep in mind for watermelon is you're going to get a lot of moisture. Tomatoes, some are looking still pretty tomatoey. Others resembling some sort of roadkill. Oh, look at that. They like that one. That one a little. That one not so much. Pumpkin, well, there isn't a lot left of pumpkin. But look at them bad boys. Just working away. The control, looking like it controlled the population of these worms. Not great. Now to begin the daunting task of pulling the cocoons from the worms. First part of the process, remove all the stinky fruit. Try to leave, well, we don't care about worms, we're not measuring that. We're measuring cocoons. Bananas, you know, you really didn't rot that much, surprisingly. Watermelon, you rotted enough for the both of you. Oh man, that's some nasty stuff. Oh, it stinks too. Watermelon's good. You might want to add more bedding or it becomes very stinky. And it would help if you fully buried the watermelon. I wanted to keep all the tests pretty close to the same here, so I didn't bury what I didn't need to. Okay, pumpkin, gooey mush. The worms are kind of all in the pumpkin still. They don't tend to lay their cocoons inside of the fruits and whatnot. They like to go down into the bedding where they can scrape it off. Okay, next part of the process. Y'all might learn something. Y'all might have already known this. Some of you are gonna think I'm crazy, but trust the process. Lots of water. Now trust me, this won't drown the worms. Actually, worms can live underwater as long as it has oxygen in it, because worms breathe through their skin. They only die in water when it's not oxygenated and it's stagnant. You know, some people feed worms to their fish, their aquarium fish, and they've been known to lose one or two here or there. And what happens is the worms kind of end up like around the aerator, away from the fish, because, you know, if they get hungry, they're coming back. But they'll stay around the aerator, and they can actually get air, breathe through their skin that way, and live in that tank for however long. Some say they actually get bigger in there, too. What do they eat in there, you ask? Well, I'm assuming fish poop. Yeah? Hey, poop's poop. Don't judge. Assume I'll be eating bugs anyway. Now, you can use a stir stick if you're squeamish, or use your hand if you're not. I should note, this water's kind of cold. I've been doing this around, I think it was like 67 today. It's October right now, so it gets a little cold here in Michigan. Kind of stir them up a wee bit. Kind of mix up the bottom. So the idea here is, yeah, some of the bedding's gonna float. Worms will sink to the bottom, but cocoons, especially when they're fresh, even older ones, as long as you don't puncture them, they'll float. Now that you've let it sit a while, you can take this colander or the screeny boy, you can take that and scoop off your top layer. Some of these, depending on the bedding, is going to be full of a lot of chaff and whatever junk that floats. This screeny boy is perfect for peeling off this top layer. It's also perfect for pretending to be an old cafeteria lady. Come get your gruel. This is a grueling job. I'm funny. Okie dokie, here's the sample. Now, I get to go through and separate all the castings from the material in here. They are all labeled, so I know what's what. This is gonna suck. I got all the wormies put back in their pile, so they're all happy back to working. Let's go through these cocoons and see which one did the best. Number one in the lineup would be the control. We got 5 cocoons in there. And we move over to banana. Probably didn't spell it right, but don't check me. 8. As for muskmelon, 8. They didn't mind either one of them. I guess they liked them about the same, surprisingly. The muskmelon had more moisture, but whatever. Tomato, 12. Pretty dang good, really. Watermelon, abysmal, 2. Watermelon, I think it just drowned them too bad. Probably should run another test and just have it be drier. But pumpkin did pretty all right. 18. I think this test was pretty decent. Was it extremely accurate? I don't know. How accurate you gotta be? You know, you can kind of get an idea of what they like and what they don't like. I think the watermelon had more to do with just being too moist. I know a lot of you love that word, but moist. Pumpkin did really good. I don't know, it was the perfect amount of wetness to that, and I don't know, they really just liked it. It decomposed at a really nice rate, so that was good. Banana probably would have been better if it would have broke down more, but what can you do? You know, you can't rush nature. So there you be. If you got anything else you want me to try, let me know, because Lord knows I love picking through all those tiny cocoons. Anyway, thanks for watching.